Welcome everyone for today's webinar, how to successfully migrate from SAP mobile platform to SAP cloud platform. If you have any question during webinar, please write them into Q&A or in the chat box. We will answer them after the webinar. Over to you, Shrikant.
Hi, good morning. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are located. This is, I believe this is our third webinar as part of the webinar series for SMP to SCPms migration. As we all know, SMP on-premise is no longer sold by SAP as a product. Everything is now focused on the mobile service on cloud platform. And SMP is also scheduled to be not supported very soon. The most important is not only just the support, but it's the most important is there are no more enhancements or new functionalities being delivered as part of the SMP on-premise. So it makes stronger case to look at the SCPms, the mobile service, for new and also for any existing initiatives and plan to take the advantage of what is available on the mobile service on the cloud platform. Today, we have Martin Grashoff. He is the Cloud Platform Mobile Service Director, Product Management. He's basically now beyond mobile services. He wears several hats for multiple products within the SAP Cloud Platform product portfolio. And he, along with me, is going to talk about what's the mobile service as a product and why you should start looking at moving from SMP to SCPms. Over to you, Martin.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much, Shrikant. So in today's webinar, I want to explain what mobile services is, so that at the end of this 45 minutes, you have a good understanding of what you could expect from the mobile services product. So we will start with the first quick glance of SAP Cloud Platform Mobile Services on the, I think, a couple of slides going forward. But also, I mean, it's important to recap, and Shrikant already mentioned that, why to move to mobile services. SMP has been there for plenty of years now. And as being said, it's in so-called maintenance mode, more or less. So you really can't expect new features. But SAP is obliged to really keep it alive. That's the current status. So as an example, if a new iOS 15, 16, 17 comes up, obviously we're holding our promise and make sure that the applications are still running, which are currently in place and do their work very well. But the whole investment goes into SAP Cloud Platform Mobile Services for the mobile area, obviously. So, and the good thing is that those two products are very compatible in the sense that it's that there are a couple of migration paths going forward from SMP to Cloud Platform Mobile Services. And a lot of new features will await customers who have migrated over to mobile services. So that being said, on the next slide then, there's a couple of motivation, what else you could expect. So I mean, obviously, there's a lot of cost incurred in running SMP on premises. Maybe it's not visible because it's not a bill that you receive every month, but there's anyhow a lot of, let's say, cost of ownership associated with SMP. It's all the the efforts that goes into upgrading the local on-premises installation. It's about upgrading the databases, maintaining the databases, making sure that the database backups can be restored. SMP updates in themselves could be very large projects. We have seen SMP installations with over 45 nodes. 24 nodes. And then sometimes you even have SMP in a failover scenario, right? So it's really, it could become a huge installation, and this includes a lot of overhead, I would say. And this is all gone in the cloud because the whole infrastructure will be maintained by SAP. You get continuously upgrades, will be upgraded for you. We make sure that all the regression tests are in place. We have modern cloud capabilities and characteristics available for you, like scalability. So there's no need to buy new hardware. You always get the latest features, and also the pace of innovations is much higher. While at SMP, in the best of all times, it has like 4 service packs per year, and with mobile services you get incremental features and also bug fixes virtually any day, right? Because we have switched from even monthly to continuous delivery, meaning that constantly we will update small increments to mobile services to make sure that, first of all, the risk of regression is very low, and secondly, our customers benefit from the latest and greatest anytime. At the same time, with mobile services on the cloud platform, you get much more features outside of the mobile area which can be tied into your mobile application. For instance, how about including a chatbot into your mobile application, because on cloud platform there's also our conversational AI, so that allows you to easily integrate other services outside of the mobile realm into your mobile solution. So instead of just having one mobile specific product on premises, you can have a full-fledged innovative portfolio at your fingertips. So that being said, I think it's pretty clear that mobile services offers a lot more benefits and than an on-premise installation. It frees up a lot of capacity currently in the teams that are maintaining mobile applications. That being said, let's take a quick look at what mobile services offers to you. So on this slide, I try to put all the main feature and characteristics into one slide. We have mobile services in the middle, and this is actually the service that runs in the cloud, and it has satellites around it, like the development options. For instance, let's start at the very top left corner. We have the SAP Cloud Platform SDK for iOS. This SDK has been developed together with Apple in our Apple SAP cooperation partnership. And the idea here is that the developer gets an SDK that is really home for iOS developers, right? So it is a very Swifty, so Swift-based application development kit that allows you to really reuse the latest and greatest of the Swift features, is basically very strongly connected to the environment, the iOS environment, and the latest revisions also allow you to create macOS applications with this SDK. And it features our iOS design language, which is much more than just, labels and buttons in a Fiori style. It gives you pre-built complex controls which are pixel perfectly aligned and designed by Apple, and you you as a developer, you just need to say, okay, at that place, give me this data from my backend, right? So it's very easy and very fast and efficient to create applications with this SDK. On the complete opposite direction, we have the SDK for Android, which is basically very similar to the iOS SDK, but this time it has been developed together with with Google. And now it features the Android design language, right? But it provides exactly the same, let's say, objects and UI controls, so that two people in the same team working on the same application, one for iOS and Android, can really easily talk about the same things. But we have more options than just native SDKs. We have the SAP mobile cards on the top right-hand corner, which provides you a framework so that the application is already available to you and you just need to provide the content, which speeds up the development and provides much faster time to market, which basically was not an option for SMP because it did not exist, right? And the same is true for the mobile development kit, a new in the sense of it's new in mobile for SMP customers, but for obviously for mobile services customers, it always has been there, almost. And the mobile development kit offers cross-platform, so for iOS and Android, low-code coding framework. That means you can really click together your native application that out of the box runs cross-platform. And the next is a roadmap statement. We're currently working on a runtime for the browser for the mobile development kit. That means that the application you build today for mobile development kit or with the mobile development kit could be an iOS application, it could be an Android application, and at the same time it could also be deployed as a web application. Right? So you really have one-stop shop for all your visual application development needs. And the mobile cards then is, again, coming back to that, is a micro app, let's say platform. The UI is very similar to, the user experience actually is very similar to what you know from the Apple Wallet. You have where you have your boarding passes, but the idea of mobile cards is that instead of boarding passes, you now have your business data at hand. It could be a leave request, which you can also then directly approve or reject, but it could also be specific business data for a customer. It could be anything, right? And it's also, since a couple of months, it supports simple forms. So you can even create simple data entry applications with mobile cards as well. And all these 4 satellites are connected with a common set of services provided by mobile services in the cloud. So here mobile services is really the backbone or the back end for your mobile applications. All your mobile apps talk to mobile services, and from there it can then access all the various backend systems. And mobile services provides all the operational and runtime features and capabilities you need to you need for providing enterprise-grade security, root cause analysis, health monitoring, and so forth. That's really the overview. And on the next slide, we basically see a very similar overview. Again, here we see the various SDKs on top. And on the right-hand side, and this is important for the migration, potential migration customers, here we have the mobile platform SDK, because the old SDK, right, applications that has been built with the old SDK can, when they are connected to OData, more on that later, can be reused directly on mobile services. But the other way around is not possible. So an SAP Cloud Platform SDK for iOS-based application cannot run on SMP, but an SMP application can run on mobile services. So even if you migrate, and later more on that by Shrikant, later you can reuse your application, so you don't need to reinvent the wheel and rebuild your application from scratch. But this slide also shows something different. So this is all the feature set, or couple of features, but for mobile services. And on the next slide, if we compare direct to SMP, all the black boxes here are not available on SMP, on the on-premises SAP mobile platform. And you see that mobile services offers a lot more than previously the SMP did. Just from a visual representation, so to say. But there's even more. So around the SDKs that helps you to build mobile applications, we also have tools to create mobile backend or mobile specific backend. It's often the case that you have an idea for an application which needs a data store or storage, but it's not really an SAP application per se. Or it could be, but you may want to have a mobile solution that not directly connects to your backend, but copies the data to the SAP Cloud Platform first, creating a data staging area, and then let your mobile application attach only to that data store on the cloud. And for these scenarios, we provide the so-called mobile backend tools, which is a set of tools, and it gives you the idea, or it gives you the tools to create graphically, you see it here on the left-hand side, a data model. And with the button click, you deploy the data model to your database. On the right hand, you see the architecture. So the data model will basically create tables in the database, and at the same time, it also provides a service implementation, an OData service implementation, here in the Java box on the right-hand side, and it exposes the data of your backend system as an OData service, so that you can access it with any option that mobile services provides to you. So you can build an iOS application on top of it, an Android application, a mobile card, or a mobile development kit application. And with that tools, alternatively, you can also use the cloud application programming model, for instance. With these kind of tools, you can create end-to-end application in SAP Cloud Platform. So, two more features I want to emphasize on. First of all, mobile services is running on a Cloud Foundry environment, and therefore has all the features and services there. And on the next slide, I want to emphasize on one specific, let's say, feature, which is also new in the sense of it's been there for years in mobile services, but new in comparison to SMP. We have a so-called usage analysis tool. And here you see the screenshot from the administrator point of view, where you see the insights of the data that your app is collecting. So you can basically put a user or SDK to collect the usage behavior of the user in the application itself. And then the application will periodically transmit the telemetry to mobile services. And then you have these very fancy dashboards to really understand how the application is being used and where there's room for improvements, and if the invest in that application was justified, and if not, how to improve that. So this is really a feature that comes with the new SDKs, because this is where the data is being collected, and on the administration side you get already pre-built analytical dashboards so that you know what's going on. You can see how many devices, what kind of devices, what operating system version. You can see the navigation flow inside the application. You can see, for instance, here on you see the right-hand corner, there's an exit page area. This is the page where the user left the application, right? So it gives you an idea of what's the last screen that the user sees before he closes or pushes the app back into the background. So that being said, this was one particular feature. Two more things. Let's talk about the security. So on the next slide, we see the security concept, and there's two things that I want to emphasize on. First of all, the SAP Cloud Platform itself provides the security layer for all applications on top of the cloud platform, and that includes all your mobile applications. So there's no need to create dedicated security for mobile applications. Mobile applications can just leverage the security that you explicitly control in SAP Cloud Platform, and it's a one-time activity, right? So for the first application on SAP Cloud Platform, you say which kind of corporate identity provider, which kind of authentication, which IDP you want to use and leverage, and all your mobile applications will automatically adhere to that. So this is number one. And we provide obviously SAML, OAuth, certificate-based application authentication. And the second part is on the application side, the app developer will be able to really reuse that security and regenerate the code for the application developer. So that's very easy for him or her to create an application that is OAuth protected, and we even add more mobile specific security options like showing a EULA or managing the consent for various data security or and privacy consent related stuff. We also add fingerprint, touch ID, and obviously passcode protection, and this can all be managed remotely by mobile services for each and any applications. One final word on the next slide is about the architecture, and it's very straightforward. So you see the mobile applications on the top of that diagram here, and they're connecting through the security layer of SAP Cloud Platform to the mobile services. This is the, let's say, the one and only entry point for each and every mobile application. And from there, the mobile app has access to all the whitelisted resources that it needs to be access to. For instance, it could be an on-premise data source through the cloud connector, which means your mobile application can be granted access to a specific ERP system, S/4HANA system on-premise. It could also connect to any other cloud application, may it be an application by SAP, like Ariba, Concur, SuccessFactors. It could also connect to third-party services, SaaS services, or even proprietary services. And obviously, you can also connect to data services that are already on the cloud platform. And you can mix and match all these kind of things. But the general approach is your app connects to mobile services, and from there it can connect to virtually anywhere. That being said, the last couple of minutes should give you a good overview about what mobile services is. And from here, Shrikant, please go on.
Thank you, Martin. That was very helpful, definitely. Martin, I have a couple of questions for you. So definitely dashboard looks very, very appealing. And it's not a question, but a comment about the dashboard is that this has some information already built in, which is typically provided by the MDM or third-party solutions. So this is going to be very, very, this is definitely very, very helpful to monitor, especially the OS versions, the active apps, the large screen. Does it also provide which screen it takes how long to process from the mobile?
Yes,
within
so
an
there are
app?
different, so there are different metrics on the screen size. Not size as well. So sometimes you're interested in the size and the amount of pixels on the screen. But even here on the page, you see the average page time, which
Yeah.
is how long the person stays on that particular page.
Yes.
And there's even more available in the sense of you can create your custom events, so you can also measure virtually anything in the application. But on, let's say, the basic functionality that we deliver is already very exhaustive. Yeah.
Yes.
So there's a lot of data coming in.
No, very helpful, definitely. The another question I have on, you mentioned about the biometric authentication, right? Is
Yep.
there a retina scan or facial recognition available?
Yes, if the device allows it. So basically, we are just wrapping the iOS features here, right? So Touch ID, Face ID, it's the same thing, and if it's available, we just expose it to the developer automatically. Yes. So if the device is capable of doing it, it's possible. Yes.
Excellent. Thank you very much. So now coming to, this is all new features, good features, easy to develop. We all have seen how quickly you can. I'm just going to go to this screen. Yeah, so this screen clearly illustrates on the left-hand side how quickly you can build the data model and how you can quickly expedite your development cycle. So very helpful. And of course, this feature is not available in SMP on-premise. So coming to, it comes time, how do you realize this goal? And that's where we come into picture as a SAP partner, working very closely with SAP and Martin's team. And so we basically created a rapid migration strategy. So there are 4 scenarios included into this SMP to SCPms migration. One is SAP mobile platform SDK, right? If you have already developed app using that on-premise. The second is SAP Work Manager, SAP Inventory Manager. So if you are using Work Manager, Inventory Manager either on Agentry or on SMP on-premise, so that's second scenario. Third is MBOs. MBOs are from the Sybase acquisition time. So there are a lot of applications which were developed on MBOs. And the fourth is the mobile infrastructure. That's the first mobile middleware rolled out by SAP. And there were 2 applications, MAM and MAU. They were being deployed using the mobile infrastructure. So if you look at those, you can see how the replacement in SAP Cloud Platform might work. What are the migration efforts and what's the migration strategy? So for SAP Mobile Platform SDK, it's basically reuse. I think Martin spoke about that briefly in his earlier slides. The migration efforts are low and migration strategy is basically redeploy. Of course, you have to do if the cloud platform is not set up, then you will have to do the cloud connector connection. You have to make sure if you want to use single sign-on, the single sign-on is set up correctly. There are some teething challenges at the beginning, depends upon where your organization is, but once that all is set up, it's basically redeploy. If it is Work Manager and SAP Inventory Manager, then Work Manager or SAP Inventory, if it is the cloud edition, then of course there are medium level of migration efforts and you have to adapt the migration strategy. So there is a little bit of work involved, depends upon what phase, what Work Manager version you are on. The next is MBO. That there is a definitely higher amount of work involved because we have moved from the middleware technology what was there in MBO, and you will have to redevelop the application because the whole architecture changes and the migration efforts are medium to high. The last is the mobile infrastructure. There must be very few customers who are still on mobile infrastructure. It used to be a middleware which will replicate the data, and of course SAP has gone away from that thought process. So SAP Gateway, Native Mobile Development Kit, efforts are high, and it's basically a redevelopment of the application. So if you have any example, this gives you a quick overview of what the migration strategy is, and we have very specific strategy defined for all of these, so we can work with you. We are an organization who started journey even before mobile infrastructure, working with SAP. In olden days, we used to integrate third-party mobile applications with SAP, but then after MI was introduced, we started working with MI. We have done several mobile implementations using MI, and followed by then SAP acquired Sybase. So we were involved in developing applications on MBO. And then afterwards, SAP acquired Cyclo. So Work Manager, Inventory Manager came as part of the Cyclo acquisition. And we have customers where we have deployed that. So we can help you from all of these aspects wherever needed. This is just a little bit of details around each of the cases we have discussed and what tools we might be using from the toolkit, which is available on the cloud platform. Now, another value add we do is, so this talks about the backend integration, how this specifically laid out. So we have the SAP Mobile Backend Tool Service, SAP Gateway, and OData Service, and all the, and now this can be coming from any data source if needed. Case 2 is Inventory Manager. There are a lot of points mentioned here. I will leave it to you. Once you get the deck, you can walk through them. Very specifically, it talks about these service pack and the patch level and all the stuff which is very important for you to validate from your migration perspective. Of course, as we discussed, it's a little bit high effort migration. It's a different architecture, different development thought process. So there's more work required, but you can basically, there are ways we have figured out by which we can understand what is done and help you to migrate much effectively and also redevelop wherever needed. So what is our experience? So Crave Infotech, our DNA is mobility, UI, UX, and we work very closely with SAP around the cloud platform, not only limited to the mobile service. So that's another point I would like to make is when you migrate, we can look at your workflow, we can look at your business use case and find out how we can make it even efficient. Because when we were in SMP, we were only limited to mobile service. Everything else has to be built around that, most of the time custom. But now, as it is on the cloud platform, you have many other tools available along with the mobile service like workflow. You have SAC for analytics. You have ABAP on cloud. So if you want to do an side-by-side or side-by-side extension and you want to leverage ABAP on cloud, we can help you there. So we can help you to create the whole end-to-end experience utilizing the mobile services as a core and then extending to the other cloud platform services on the cloud platform. So from our experience, we have experience developing mobile applications, UI, UX, native iOS and Android apps, low-code app development tools. We also have our own small IP available on the cloud platform, which helps you to create mobile apps faster and make them configurable. instant, this is what I was talking about, instant creation of micro apps and make the apps enterprise grade. So we as a Crave Infotech, we don't stop at the mobile app development. We have helped customer to make the right choice to choose the right MDM. If you have a larger volume, large data, user base, it's always recommended to use the MDM so that you can manage the version, you can manage the deployment, you know who has what, and it's much secure compared to doing it manually. So we work with you and make sure you have the end-to-end mobility solution, not just the development. Throughout this process, what are the lessons learned? We have a long list, but we can discuss that one-on-one if you have specific need, but these are kind of high-level application-oriented monitoring needed for cloud process integration. Self-monitoring and alert capabilities are needed for cloud process integration. And finally, SSO can be teething. It can take a lot of time if it is not planned correctly. So there needs to be planning and coordination within your team, within your organization with different teams to make sure the SSO is implemented correctly. I'm going to talk about a couple of success stories. So first success story is about a life sciences organization. It's a large organization, global organization. We help them to implement several applications on-premise cloud, on-premise SMP, and now they are moving them onto the cloud, considering the timeline, the functionalities, and so we help them to take the first app on cloud. Late last year, early this year, they are live, and a lot of users are using it effectively. And the scope included a preventive maintenance application, which we moved from SMP to SCPms, SSO integration, connection, establishing connection between the cloud platform and the SAP, and defining backend endpoints. And then we also, so they started with ECC, and then also we migrated them to S4. So it was kind of a dual journey, migrating from SMP to SCPms, mobile service, and also migrating them from ECC to S4. The second success story is for a large apparel rental company, large project, 12,000 workforce needed. The use case or the problem statement was that this organization was using 3G devices and they were going out of support. So of course, they had to move to the new devices. So they want to take advantage of the situation and look at what else they can do. So one was to upgrade from Windows to Android. The second was developing a new application, or basically lift and shift, but add whatever is business needed. And fourth was to see what is the best middleware they can use. So we worked with the customer understood the value of going on to the mobile service and cloud platform. Of course, it was a large data, volume data, critical field work, and they couldn't afford basically any downtime. So they were very cautious because of the volume. They started with POC, and we did a quick POC, and then we also did a stress test to ensure that it's going to take the load for 12,000 workforce, and customer is very customer is very comfortable with that approach. Once they were comfortable, they went live 8 months back, and slowly they ramped up to the full user capacity. And so far, we haven't seen any major challenges with what they were doing. This is how the typical high-level architecture looks like. We will share that. Finally, why Crave? So one of the key elements is that we are we continue to innovate. That's our DNA. Digital core, cloud platforms, enterprise asset management, enterprise mobility. So we provide end-to-end solution, as I discussed before. And we have a lot of applications. All of them are configurable and pre-packaged. If you have interest, we'll be happy to show how they are configurable, which allows you to change the user interface of the application from a backend table, basically. And third most important thing is we do not add any additional layer. We do not store data anywhere. Our applications use SAP as the master. It's the front end, but they have offline capabilities. They are responsive, and they are available on the SAP Cloud Platform. Not only that, all of our enterprise-grade applications are validated by Zebra. Zebra is the leader in the mobile computing. What is meant by that is they are validated for memory leak, they are validated for battery usage, they are validated for user interface, and they are also validated for integration with SAP. So they are ready to go out of the box when they are deployed on a mobile application. A little bit about Crave, 13-year-old company. As I mentioned, we are partner with SAP. We have PE Sell, which is also known as VAR, PE Build, and PE Service Partnerships. We are also Zebra Premier ISV and reseller. And there's one more thing which is not mentioned here, is we are also partner with HERE technology, which is the geo enablement. So we combine those three together: global presence, Europe, US, and APAC. This is the list of all of our applications. If you have any interest, feel free to talk to us. Supply chain, EAM, so enterprise asset management, supply chain, connected assets, IoT. You name the business unit and we have the applications for them. And they are all ready to go. They typically meet anywhere between 60 to 90% of customer requirement. Rest all is achieved through configuration and sometimes customization, depends upon how your backend is set up. Quick list of customers: utilities, oil and gas, pharma, life sciences, high-tech manufacturing, companies like Siemens, retail, paper mill, chemicals. So healthcare, we have a subset of customer base basically in most of the industry segments. So with that, we'll open for question and answer. Do we have, I see some chat points here. Can we directly consume? Go ahead.
Yeah, I was saying we have one question from Amit Devedi. He is asking, can we directly consume OData service from Gateway with web dispatch instead of SMP server?
Ashwin, can you respond to that? Ashwin, are you there? I think we can, but I think it's a little bit. Ashwin, are you there on the call?
Yes, yes, we can do that.
Okay. Thank you. Any more questions? So you can definitely reach out to us. You can reach. Here are the contacts for Martin. Here are my contacts. And in order for you to know more, I will put the general mailbox. I'm sorry, I went to the next slide. I was trying to type into the question. You can also use this email. Yes, yeah, I think we both. You can reach out to us at contact@craveinfotech.com and we can walk you through your use cases and see how we can help you to move from SMP to SCPms. I'm sure you'll have more questions, technical questions, if needed. I think so thank you very much. We appreciate you joining today to know more from Martin and myself. Thank you very much. Have a nice rest of the day and evening wherever you are. Stay safe and healthy, and hope you got what you needed from today's webinar, and good luck. Thank you, Martin.
Thanks, Martin.
Thank you for joining.
Thanks for having me. Bye-bye.
Bye.